Hello YouTube people. Hey, I just want to come to you today in a new video, and highlight Mac. This is Mac, and he's my going to be very soon year-old Tegu. Mac the black and white Tegu, Argentina Tegu. I just want to show you how nice Mac is. I just took him out of his cage. Let me also too, I've got my really ugly Tegu shirt on, or sweatshirt, and it's got, I use it just for a little bit of protection because of their nails, and they usually have dirt on their feet, so just ignore my ugly sweatshirt. But we're back here in the bathroom, and I just wanted to show you Mac, and I have a towel because I have shorts on, and it's just easier to put a towel down. But just want to show you how sweet Mac is, even though he's warm and ready to really definitely climb around and get the day started. Just want to show you how sweet a baby raised from a baby, let's put it that way, Tegu can be. Mac is about 35 inches last time I checked, maybe a couple weeks ago. Maybe he's 36 inches now, I don't know. But as you can see, yeah, like I said, he's warmed up, so he's not cold. He's warm to the touch. He will let me, stroke his head, rub his face, and he typically will close his eyes. I can rub around his mouth. And that's really unique. I mean, I would not have known that I would be able to do that with a reptile. These reptiles, if they were upset or they weren't friendly and they bit you, which it's highly likely, that a Tegu that's not, socialized and calmed down and used to you could get bit. And it would be, a Tegu of this size would be horrible. I cannot tell you how bad the bite would be, and especially if you're not used to taking bites, or you're not a super tough person, that raises reptiles and gets bit on a regular occasion, and it's not that big a deal to you. Someone that gets bit maybe once a year or a couple times a year, this would be awful. I think I got bit on this finger. I mentioned in a previous video, or I even covered it in a video, when I took him outside and he got very freaked out, and I had to get him under control when he was on the ground, and I made the decision to reach down and grab him real quick and get him under control, and he reached around and bit me on this finger, and it ripped my finger up. I have a video, but it put a big deep scar, not a deep scar, but a scar here and a scar on the backside. I can still see it today. 4 months later. So you don't want to get bit by an angry Tegu, especially when they start to get over 2 feet. But you tame them down and they become really sweet animals. I mean, you still got to be smart and be cautious, because they are reptiles. They do have a wild instinct, and their mood swings could be very, very quick. So you always got to be smart and read their behavior. Mac and the red Tegu that I have, Sassy, when they get upset, they will wiggle their tail. The very 6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch of their tail will wiggle like a snake, so slightly, and that's when they're very, very agitated. When their tail is going in that S pattern, you definitely want to give them a little bit of space, and they're getting freaked out and they're unhappy and they're threatened, and that's when you don't want to go pick them up. But when they calm down and they just kind of flicking their tongue and they slow down in their movement, they become very docile. That's a good term, docile. Very easy to manage and handle. Mac's fairly big. If I put him up and held him up, I mean, he would take all this up with his tail, which, a large portion of it is their tail. But these are very powerful reptiles, these lizards, with their very stocky arms, very muscular. I've seen Mac when he gets startled and he does a quick bolt of power, puts it down to the ground when he's agitated. It's very volatile, and I've seen him. When he gets freaked out, if I put him on the ground outside or on the ground in another room that he's not used to, he can cover 20 feet in a millisecond with just a burst of power from these very, very powerful and very, very thick, meaty, muscular rear feet, and these nails, long. Their toes and their feet and their legs are very powerful. They're all muscle, just like a python or a boa. I mean, they're just all muscle, and they are built to explode. Like a snake that eats a mouse, or a rat, or a possum or something, or in their native land, whatever their animal they're going to feed on, they've got to be really explosive and strong. And or an alligator is very explosive and strong, and can be very terrifying. So tegus are really neat animals. I just explaining it. I think I got a good one. Sassy, my red tegu, is a little more adventurous. I got to think of the term to tell you. She's just a little more anxious, just a little more won't sit still. Mac will actually sit still and doesn't have to be going somewhere, where she constantly is thinking where she needs to go next. Mac will be much more chill. He will want to go up to my shoulder if I allowed him. They want to get up to higher parts of my body. So this also helps him to get up there, because he's not clawing into my skin, which could be painful. His nails are not nearly as sharp as Sassy's, but based on this mouse and rat diet I'm feeding him, he is getting more nutrients, essential nutrients, and his nails are now getting longer and sharper. I was just feeding him a lot of fruit, and so now he's getting more whole prey, so his nails are looking a little more predator lizard-like, or dinosaur raptor-like. But Mac is just really cool. He will just come sit in my arms and hang out. And like I said, I can pet him on his head. I can massage his neck. He tends to act like, this is me assuming, humans assuming, human behaviors on a reptile. But when I massage his neck, he'll close his eyes, and I can, rub the tip of his, up here on his head. Sassy doesn't like her head really touch the red tegu, and definitely doesn't like the tip of the nose touched up here. Mac doesn't seem to bother him, and you can massage him, and he'll close his eyes. He may not be doing it now. I can't see, but you can see. Tell me what you think, what your tegu experiences have been. Some people have mentioned that they're breeders and they have 5 to 10 tegus. I just have 2 tegus. I mean, I preferably would just have 1, but I have 2. And I have a video on why I have 2 tegus. Never intended on having 2 tegus, but there is a backstory to that. But Mac is just such a friendly tegu, and I've seen some videos of people that have troubled tegus that are very aggressive. Now, I don't know the full story, but I can assume that maybe they didn't get them as babies, very young babies, but I think some of them have. And a lot of their temperament has to do from where they come from in South America. We've got Argentina down there, kind of in the middle of South America to the southern portion of South America. Then we have Bolivia, Uruguay, Paraguay, which is a little more north and a little bit more east. And then, Bolivia and Colombia and things like that. So the Argentina tegus tend to be the sweetest from everything I've read. And then you've got the tegus that come from Paraguay and Bolivia and more Colombia, and those are the ones that are smaller, and they'll become more aggressive and harder to tame down. So the sweetest are the Argentina Tegus, and I don't know. Argentina is actually a pretty big country there, from north to south, and it has a little bit of a varied climate from north to south, varying in maybe 10 degrees. But Mac is a full-bred black and white Tegu, and he's actually got, from what I've heard, a term as a fire belly. I think that's maybe a term from Florida, where these things have gone kind of an explosion of Tegus, and crossbred from people getting Tegus from different parts of South America. And so I don't want to really bother him because he's being so chill, and I don't know if it's going to show up in the video because of the light in here, but he's got a red tint to his belly, and it's probably not going to look good in here, and I can't see because I'm on top of him, but he's got more of a red tint to all of his underbody that's more white, more cream colored. But yeah, like I said, mentioned, I heard the term fire belly, and that was kind of interesting. There's all kinds of morph terms and names for these creatures, and I just think it's kind of fun. Fire belly is kind of a neat, and he's predominantly more a black color. He does not have any white. He's a very cream colored, light tan, he's got a very dark black head, and there's a breed of Tegus that have dark heads, and white heads. But Mac's got that very dark head, and some people prize that in their Tegus. But now he's wanting to get up and walk around, and if I restrain him, which I like to do, I like him to sit and not be a mission of going somewhere. But you just got to be real careful because their little personalities can change, and they are reptiles like dogs. A dog may be sweet, but gets around someone, and its personality changes, and they get bit in the face when they reach down to, cootie cootie coo, and touch them on the nose, or they get their hand severely bit and major damage from a dog bite. Dog bites are very, very bad. But I just wanted to make this video. Hopefully it's not too long because that's not my intent. But Mac is such a sweet Tegu. He's going to my shoulders and then likes to go up to my head. And when he wants to go somewhere, he wants to go. He won't stop until I make his memory forget where he wants to go, and I can push his head in an area where he thinks he wants to go up, but I deter him one way, and then he gets frustrated, and then he'll just sit again. But Mac is such a cool lizard. I have a lot of faith in Mac not to bite me. He is a great example of a Tegu, but I got him as maybe a 3-week-old baby from Snakes at Sunset in southern Florida before the Tegu ban, and now they're not selling Tegus at all. But Mac is such a pretty lizard. He likes his tail stroked. He'll be relaxed. I've already been stroking it, so he's got it tensed up, but he'll have his tail hanging. But as I stroke it, he'll arc it like it feels good. I mean, it could be agitating him. Who knows? But I rub his tail, and it gives him, I think, a confidence feeling when I rub his tail, or I grab him firmly by the tail. When he's acting up a little bit, I can just put some pressure on the big meat portion of the tail. Never grab him, and be forceful with the end of a Tegu's tail, because they can drop their tail, and that would be very, very tragic. Mac has never dropped his tail or lost a portion of his tail, though he has a little curve up in his tail, just a very little tip, just goes whoop, curves upwards. But grab them by the meat of their tail and support their front legs. I'm trying to get down because my video, let me turn my camera up a little bit. All right, that should be good. But grabbing them by the tail and putting some pressure on their tails helps mine to calm down. It reassures him. If you pick a tegu up and they feel like they're going to fall or they don't have a good perch, and then they can tense up and they can fight and they can flop around and alligator death roll. So you really want to, when you pick up your tegu, I always grab him by the rear portion of the tail and then support his front. And then I can also, Sassy doesn't like to be restrained like that. She gets struggly when she's restrained. So I will try to not restrain her and let her sit on my arm. But most of the time, that gives her the idea she wants to jump down. But when you grab her like I do Mac, she gets upset. Doesn't bite me or anything, but just doesn't like to be restrained. Starts, squirming and just gets unhappy. Where Mac, though, with authority, when I grab his tail and his front, let me pull him down again. He's definitely wanting up to my shoulders. Grab him under the front arms and then grab him by this rear portion of this tail. And that will calm him down. But such a great lizard. I hope you are having a great time raising your lizard, tegu lizard. And let me see, I don't really want my face in because I'm just not super attractive in the morning. But Mac, not saying that I'm attractive ever, but Mac is such a great lizard. So hopefully y'all have had a good experience. Share your experience with me. Let me know if your tegu is super sweet. And, I don't call them dog-like because I don't think it is, that's going a little over the top. But I think more cat-like. You have cats that want nothing to do with humans, even though their owners love them and they're inside. They're just very, very independent. That's kind of like Sassy, my red tegu. And then you have some cats, I'm not a cat person, but I've experienced and seen it. Then you have some cats that like to hang out with people. They want an affection. And so they come up and they climb into your lap. And there's more cats that are much more personable than many of the other cats. And so maybe that's like tegus. Now I just want to say that tegus are more like cats, with their claws and their teeth, and they can just switch up their personality really, really fast. But that's what I think they're related to as far as a domesticated pet like a dog or an animal or a cat like that. So hopefully you found this video informative and helpful and entertaining, and that's my intentions. All right, I appreciate you watching. Again, a new video from me. Have a great day, and love on your snakes and lizards, turtles, and amphibians, and have a super, super good day. Bye-bye.